Financial disclaimer. Velt Impera is not a financial advisor. Cryptocurrency trading and investing involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Only invest what you can afford to lose. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Always conduct your own research and consult a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Steven Kasianenko, and I am one of the founders of Velt Impera. And we're going to talk today about crypto, blockchain. Don't hang up. Don't get off the call. It sounds scary, but I'm going to show you a simple way to understand crypto and blockchain. Because, friends, whether you realize it or not, whether you like it or not, everything is going to go digital. But this isn't really about that. What this is about is your current situation, your current way of living with the banking system. And the first question I want to ask is, how much interest rate does your bank pay you on your savings, on your checking, maybe on some certificates of deposit? What are they paying you? Or what are your treasury bonds? What are they paying you out annually? And the answer to that, friends, we already know is either 1, -1, maybe if you're in a high-end bracket holding some CDs for over a year, maybe you're getting 3, maybe even 4% per year. And when you add fees, you realize you're actually making a negative interest rate. And then when you take in the brutal fact, the brutal reality of inflation, you realize that your euros or your dollars or your pounds, after 1 year from today, they will be worth 30% less in terms of buying power. And I want to show you a solution that not only protects against inflation, protects your buying power, but also offers you a reasonable interest rate on your money. Not only that, we're going to discuss the issues that we currently have in moving money around, why it takes so long for banks to move money, why you're not allowed to take certain amount of cash out at a cash machine, why you are capped at how much you could transfer to friends and family in the event of an emergency, and why some banks will refuse to transfer your transfer for the sake of your safety. We're going to talk about that. But before we do that, I want to bring your attention to the reality. And these are some highlights here. If you may not know these names, but in the financial world, these are what we call the big dogs. Larry Fink, he's the CEO of BlackRock. BlackRock is the largest financial institution on the planet. Hands down, they decide how the government works. I wish it weren't the case, but the more money you make and the longer you're in the financial system, you realize that financial institutions dictate policy, full stop. So as the head of the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, he is considered the most influential person on the market. And what is he saying? He is saying that we spend so much time talking about AI, we're not spending enough time talking about how quickly we're going to tokenize every financial asset. I do believe we are at the beginning of tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board. What does he mean? He means gold, silver, oil, houses, water, air, fertilizer, all tokenized. What does that mean? Instead of physically trading gold, you are turning it into a digital asset. And by the way, currently, the current financial system we are all under that has different currencies like euros or dollars or pounds, on the banking system, on your app, on your cards, it is all digital. You aren't actually transferring or moving physical paper currency. You are moving digital numbers. What Larry Fink is saying, it's going to go beyond just currency. We are going to make everything digital, from real estate to gold to silver. And you say, Steve, well, how is that possible with gold? Let me tell you how it's possible. Current technology is able to very, very accurately look into the ground, very deep under the earth, and determine how much gold is in a certain area down to the ounce. And instead of because of all these environmental issues, instead of bringing in all this heavy machinery, drilling, ruining the environment, and getting that gold, bringing it up so it can be refined and brought to the market and sold on the exchange, instead of doing that, what they're doing is they are saying there's 300,000 pounds of gold here. We are going to digitize it, and we're going to break it down to ounces on a digital, as a digital scan, and you could buy it, and that will be equivalent to real gold. And that is happening everywhere. It's not just financial currencies like the euro or the dollar. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, he's a vocal critic of Bitcoin, but he says its own blockchain platform specifically to tokenization of traditional financial instruments. The bank routinely processes billions of dollars in tokenized short-term loans. What does that mean? They're not moving tens of millions of dollars for an hour from one bank to another. It is all digital. Jonathan Steinberg, CEO of Wisdom Tree, the end goal is to deliver financial services to customers faster, cheaper, with better outcomes. So why tokenization? Well, several reasons. The whole purpose of crypto and blockchain is so that there would be no middleman. Currently, you take your money, you hold it in a bank, and the bank holds it for you. If you want to send it, receive it, you have to go to the bank, and you have to ask the bank to do that. If they're during working hours, maybe they can get it done. So let's take a look at a typical transfer. My organizations, we fund lots of ministries. We fund lots of non-profit projects. We help really the downtrodden of the world. And oftentimes we are required to move large amounts of money into war areas. Ukraine, Russia, Iran, Israel, Egypt. And guess what, friends? I cannot move money from my bank to Ukraine. It does not happen. If I did, it would take several weeks just to get the approval, and then the amount would be capped. With Bitcoin or crypto, imagine being able to send the money in seconds, any amount at any time. 2 a.m. on a Sunday, someone calls that you're working with as who's working in a makeshift hospital on the border of Romania, Ukraine, providing aid for refugees. Roof caves in, they need $10,000. They can call you up, and on your phone, you could transfer them instantly. And as long as they have a mobile phone, they can use it on the spot to pay for anything. And that, friends, is the future. And that is what I want to show you today. I want to introduce to you a financial ecosystem called Velt Impera. Now, when I say financial ecosystem, you're already in one. So I live in the Netherlands. In Europe, there's a financial ecosystem. It is based on the euro. What is backing up the euro? Nothing. Just the agreement that we will use the euro to buy, trade, and sell amongst ourselves. Right? That's the agreement. We gave it a certain value, and that's it. And in that ecosystem, there are cards. You could buy things using euro. And then within Europe, in the Netherlands, there's also even more specific systems. In our country, in the Netherlands, we use Ideal. And it is a system that is connected to all the shops, all transportation, food, and it's connected through this system where you can use your bank pass, your debit cards to buy things and move money. In America, it's the United States dollar. In the UK, it's the British pound. I'm going to show you a decentralized ecosystem. Don't get afraid of that word, but an ecosystem just on cryptocurrency. And what makes this so special? Well, there's no middleman. Everything is done instantaneously, and you are in control of everything. So friends, allow me to introduce you to Velt Impera. This is a next generation financial ecosystem. So just like a normal bank offers savings and a percentage on savings and loans and a debit card, And then with that debit card, you can go to a marketplace and you can buy food or cars. Velt Impera offers the exact same financial ecosystem, except with one major difference. There's no one person or institution in control of this. It is run by itself like an AI robot with a smart contract. There's no human who decides whether your money can leave or stay, whether it can go or can't go, and how long it will take. There are no fees. When you do a money transfer from one country to another, you're going to pay fees. You're going to pay conversion fees, wire transfer fees, handling fees. Then the other bank is going to take receiving fees, conversion fees, handling fees, all before you get access to your money. And by the way, it'll take 10 working days. In our ecosystem, it is done instantly. There are no fees. There are no waiting times. There are no holding or wire transfer fees. You are in control. So whether you like it or not, the future of everything is going into, I'm just going to say crypto, or what the market calls Web3. It means everything is going digital. And whether you like it or not, your money already is digital. If you went to your bank and said, I'd like to go to the vault and take a look at my $10,000, there is no $10,000, friends. It's not there. There's no one there brushing off the dust and taking care of your neatly stacked dollars. It's not how it works. Like, it doesn't work that way anymore. It is all digital on a ledger. And what this does, it gets rid of the middlemen. And because we get rid of the middlemen, the fees drop, the speed dramatically increases, and the rate on return is what people should normally be getting out of it. So we bridge the gap between traditional banking system and the new tokenization Web3. So why are people looking at Veltrixa? Because one of the things that people will say is, well, there's a lot of scams out there with crypto. How do I know it's real? How do I know people, they're not going to do what's called a rug pull? How do I know they're not just going to steal my money? And one of the reasons we created Velt Impera, this ecosystem, is to fight that type of fraud. And the only way to fight that type of fraud is to make every transaction transparent, open to everybody, where no one can change or finagle the numbers or percentages. On a decentralized solution, in order for us to provide such a high-level ecosystem, we had to have gone through multiple audits, Howey letters, all this regulation just to be approved to be able to provide something like this. And I'm going to show you the different types of proof that we have, right? What I'm showing you is not something in the future. It is something that we have already created. It is alive and it is real. So why do investors look at us? Why do people look at us? Because we are transparent. It is all verified. It is all on the blockchain, and it is outside of human intervention. It operates on a smart contract, and a smart contract is kind of how it sounds. It's a contract is, if you do this, then this happens, and if you do X, then Y happens. If you do Y, then Z happens. A smart contract is a contract that does it automatically. So, what is Veltrixa? Again, it is an ecosystem. And we provide, it's a full ecosystem, meaning it's got a banking process, we have savings, we have high interest savings, loans, a hedge fund. I mean, we have access to everything. Imagine a bank just in a digital platform. And it's not, back in the day with Bitcoin, when Bitcoin first came out, imagine someone comes to you, now we know Bitcoin, it's in the $70,000 mark, $50,000, but imagine someone comes to you with Bitcoin saying, hey, you can get Bitcoin for $1. Your first thing is, well, what the hell is Bitcoin? Oh, well, it's a cryptocurrency. And, so you may understand the value of Bitcoin, no middlemen, full transparency, There's no chance of getting scammed. We control the money, not the banks. Sounds good, but how do you use it? Right? When Bitcoin first came out, there was nowhere to spend it on food, fuel, travel, on electricity, on rent. But now, friends, Veltrixa is the new Bitcoin, where you can now get Veltrixa at the Bitcoin dollar rate, and you can use it. We have a platform where you can use it to pay for anything, any country, any currency, any amount, any time, no limits. So this is the big one here is, what about the security, right? If you're going to get involved in an ecosystem like this, you want to know that it is reputable, that it's been audited, and that it is reliable. So these are the four inside the crypto space: Certique, GoPlus, Dex Screener, and CoinMarketCap. These are the biggest of the biggest that determine if something is a real project or a scam project. So I'm now going to show you Certique, and I'm going to show you Veltrixa on Certique. And here is Veltrixa on Certique. As you can see, it's open source. There's no self-destruction, no hidden owner, no modifiable tax. It's anti-whale, anti-blacklist, and we have all very good marks here. If I go deeper into the security scan token, we look here. It's anti-whale. It's not a proxy. All of these things are green lights. No red checks whatsoever. The next big one is Dex Screener. Here's Dex Screener. So here's the Veltrixa token on. Actually, let me get to the Veltrixa token. This is not the Veltrixa token. Let me get in here. Sorry about that. So this is a security screener that wants to see, is this a real token? And here is, that's also not it. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why it's doing that.
Is there a list of public trades?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's Velt on the marketplace. Here it is. So here's all the trades here on the bottom. This is just on Dex Screener. Now, if I go to CoinMarketCap, here's Veltrixa again. As you can see, we've got a 98.24 million market cap. Well, 98.75 million market cap. Here's when we put it on the exchange, and we're still in pre-launch. So when we initially minted the token, it was 0.0005, and then when we launched it on the exchanges, it was already at 0.0008. It is now almost at 0.001, and it's pre-launch. So it's already doubled since we put it on the exchange. Again, if you look here, there's no honeypot. If I go to Dex Screener, Dex Scan, take a look at Velt. Again, community sentiment, very, very high, very, very good. Next one is CoinGecko. Let me put this on the daily. Here's Veltrixa. So it's on CoinGecko. Here it is on the biggest exchange in the world, Binance. Here are all the buys and sell of Felt on Binance. So every exchange keeps a record of how much money is moving in and out. Again, we put it on the exchange. It pops. I really expect 2 to 3x in the next quarter because we're going to launch in August. So I think 2 or 3x. Now, what makes Veltrixa so special? Well, we started with talking about everything's going to crypto and DeFi and all that. But what does that mean for us in reality? Well, in reality, what Veltrixa does is, and let me get back to the pitch deck here. Currently, let's say you have $10,000 in your bank, and you're earning maybe 2% per year. Again, with fees and inflation, you're actually in a negative. In a year from now, that $10,000, euros or pounds, is still going to say $10,000, euros or pounds, but your ability to buy the same thing that you were able to a year ago is going to be significantly less.
Lower.
Much
Absolutely.
lower. Now, with Felt, Felt has a deflationary mechanism in it. It is not influenced by inflation or deflation, and the reason for that is there is a limited amount of Felt tokens that have been printed, 100 billion total. Every time someone stakes or decides, hey, I'm going to take my savings from a bank and put it into the Veltrixa ecosystem, that $10,000 that you were getting 2% on and weren't doing anything with it, in our system, you're going to earn 36%, 48% every single year. And the power of that, the buying power does not go down. It increases. It is deflationary. So as the dollar and other currencies are subject to inflation and decreased buying power because they print enormous amounts of currency, with Felt, there's no more Felt to print. There's a certain amount, and it is done. And every time someone buys or spends, a small percentage is called burned, meaning it's gone. Just like Bitcoin. So the value is constantly increasing. So we have, like I said, this is not some imaginary world. We have a real ecosystem with over 100,000 people participating in it right now, and we haven't even launched. We're going to launch at the end of August. We're still in pre-launch. But we have 4 real products that are working in this ecosystem. So the first one is we've replaced the savings and certificates of deposit with staking. So in the banking world, you have a bank. In the crypto world, you have an exchange. In the banking world, you have a bank account. In the crypto world, you have a wallet. In the banking world, you have a certificate of deposit or a savings account. In the crypto world, it's called a staking account. So,
Sorry, could you repeat that?
In the banking world, you have a bank. In the crypto world, bank, the new name for bank is called exchange.
Mm-hmm.
In your bank, you have a bank account.
Mm-hmm.
The new word for bank account is wallet address.
Correct.
Oh, you also have savings accounts and you have certificates of deposits in bank. The new word in crypto is staking. You stake your claims. You put your money there and you say, I'm not going to touch it for 6 months or 9 months. And in exchange for that, I get a higher percentage rate. So the first question is, Steve, how can you offer such a high rate of return? How is that possible? Well, the first thing I want to say is, you don't know my history, but I guess I made my money as an analytical trader. So back in 2011, after I sold, I think my second company, I decided to learn technical analysis and I started investing in commodities. Started with silver, went into Forex, went into real estate, went into equities, leverage equities, futures. And then I said, well, I was successful there. In 2016, I saw I saw what crypto was going to do. I saw that this is where we were going. I said, I wonder if I can put my analysis to work in the crypto market space. And in a few years, I found myself, in about 4 years, I was already trading $280 million per month on the exchanges. And when you do that, you get an institutional account. What that means is you get a seat at what I call a seat at the table. And you have access, because of the sheer volume of money that you are trading, you are offered financial instruments that most people will never see. It is only for the ultra rich. It is for hedge fund managers, investment bankers, just ultra wealthy. And what I discovered, friends, is your bank gets your dollar, and in that year, they make 100% return on that dollar or that euro. Guaranteed. And the question is, why are they only paying you out 2%? What happens to the other 98%? And friends, what happens to it is they pay themselves. They pay their large offices. They pay for their fancy buildings and their fancy lawyers. And in crypto, none of that is needed. It is ultra safe. You cannot lie. It is transparent. So all the earnings that we would typically make on every dollar that is in an investment or a savings account, the vast majority of it goes to the person. And that, friends, is the way it's supposed to work. So what is very unique about us? Again, it is all verified. It is all on the blockchain. It is all audited. It is documented. It is all verifiable. Fully transparent. Second product is we have a Visa debit card. What is unique about this Visa debit card? Because there's a lot of crypto companies saying, oh, we got a Visa debit card. Let me tell you the truth about that. Most of these crypto companies, even banks, they're not issued directly from Visa. It's issued through a third-party vendor. Our Visa debit card is issued directly by Visa, straight. You can use this anywhere Visa is accepted, which is pretty much anywhere in the world. We have no limit.
So Visa card is the second product. I'm sorry,
Yes.
what was the name of the first? Let me write that down.
The first one is staking.
Staking, okay. It's like a savings account.
Yes. Starting at 3% per month, all the way up to 5% per month.
But the money must remain for a period of?
Anywhere from 6 months to 5 years, you decide.
Okay.
At 6 months, you're getting 36% per year. APY. Now, the debit card. Friends, if you take your debit card, here's what I know. I know that your bank has put a limit on how much you can take out, how much you can spend daily, how much you can spend monthly. Not only that, they decide which countries you can use to spend it in. So when I was in Egypt last year and I had my bank card and I tried to pay for my hotel room, they wouldn't accept it because the European bank does not honor Egypt. It doesn't do business with Egypt. You know what I did? I took out my crypto card and paid for it on the spot. No fees, instantly done. And I've done this in Ukraine. I've done this in Qatar. I've done this in India. I've done this in Sri Lanka, Egypt. Every time I try to use the bank cards, there are problems. They will close the account. They will block the card. Then I've got to call them, and then they don't have the working hours. Then I got to get on the phone for 2 hours to get them to extend the credit or say it's legitimate because they think it's fraud. Friends, in the decentralized world, you know if it's fraud or not, full stop. You are in control. We have no issues like that here, zero. The other thing that's different about this card is all the other debit cards in crypto, whether it's you're having Bitcoin or Ethereum, when you want to spend it, you have to convert it to a thing called a stable coin, which is either USDT or USDC. And you use the stable coin to pay for things with the card. We are the first card in the world that is able to pay directly with our utility token. There is no conversion. Why does that matter? Because there's always a conversion fee from the token to the USDT or USDC, And then there's another conversion for using the stable coin. With our card, your Velt can be used anywhere. It is instantly converted into whatever currency you need. There's no conversion fee. You don't have to move money. There's no one on the planet that does that, and there's no one on the planet that offers no limits, no amount, spending limit, anytime, anywhere, full stop, ultimate freedom. Our third,
Is this the difference between Velt and other cryptos?
yes, Bitcoin, you cannot spend Bitcoin directly. It must be converted to a stable coin, which is then converted to the currency. With Veltrixa, we created it so that there is no conversion. It is instantaneous.
Is there a fee on converting crypto to a stable coin and then using it?
Yes, typically there is. So if you have I have a crypto.com card, and they're a great card. I love the company crypto.com. There are competitors there, but they're centralized. And on my crypto card, whether I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Felt, I have to convert it to USDC. There is always a fee between 1% and 4% on that conversion. And then there's a fee to use the stable coins. With our Veltrixa debit card, there is no conversion necessary. You have your Felt, that's it.
Okay. So that is the difference between using traditional crypto anywhere around the world versus using the Velt card.
That is the first one. The second one is that we have no limits. We are the first card with zero limits.
Does other cryptos have limits?
Absolutely. So crypto.com, their basic card, you have a limit of $10,000 per month that you could spend. You can only take $2,500 in cash out per week. There's limits. With our card, you can take $20,000 out. You can spend $100,000 that day. It doesn't matter. You want to buy a car? You want to buy a house with your Velt? No problem. Instant.
But how are you able to do that if the money is under staking?
This is, of course, outside of staking, right?
Okay.
So not everything has to be in staking. If you have $100,000 in your bank, maybe $10,000 is set aside for your savings. $10,000 is in a certificate of deposit. Another $20,000 is maybe in a checking account, and then you got another account for something else, right? So
Correct.
It's the same thing here. With Felt, you have multiple accounts. We just want to show that one of our high-end products is like a savings and certificate of deposit product, and that's this. And then, of course, the question is, well, that's great, I'm earning all this interest, but how can I use it? Yes, here's the card. You can use it right away. The problem with Bitcoin still, and in the beginning, was, okay, great, I'm making all this money. I got Bitcoin at $1. It's now 1,000. Amazing. But how can I use it? Well, you can't. You got to go on the black market. Not this. You use it instantly. And that's power, man. Now, I want to tell you something else, Amar. We work with a lot of people in emerging economies, emerging cultures, in Africa, in Southeast Asia. These are very, very, very poor people. They don't have birth certificates, driver's license, where they can walk in and get a bank account, right? So when I want to transfer money to these people who live in a mud hut or a straw hut with a mud floor, even though they may not have running water or electricity, I'll tell you what, they will have some sort of smartphone, and they will have like those solar powered things that they connect their smartphones to. And they may not be able to get a bank account because they don't have an ID and they don't exist technically. But with our digital card, they download the digital card, they get their Felt, and they could spend it anywhere immediately. It's very, very powerful.
So
Now,
it includes the ultra poor and ultra rich.
absolutely. Absolutely.
One quick question before we go to the third product. How are the interest profits paid? Are they paid directly to the Velt account of the holder?
Yes.
Okay, so this is done automatically. No one is actually doing it. It just loads up to their account.
Automatically. Let's say you decide to stake $10,000 for 6 months at 36% APY. The interest, the 10,000 is put in a stake account, and the interest is paid out every single day into your normal account. And that normal account can be connected to your debit card. Now, here's what's very, very important is that the big question is, well, how are you able to pay such a high interest rate? And the answer to that is because I've already allotted all the interest that we're going to pay is already put in a separate fund. So
how are you able to do that if it's decentralized?
We did it in the smart contract. So as the money came in, as money comes in, the smart contract says, okay, a portion goes for development, a portion goes for marketing, a portion goes for the owners like me, a portion goes for providing the interest on the staking, for the next 5 years, and it's calculated like that. And based on the amount of people that are staking, it automatically determines how much more money it needs to put in the fund. So all the interest that we're going to pay out is already there. It's already there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also that is a game changer. Third marketplace is the AI marketplace. This is what you were very excited about, Amar. We provide, with our Felt tokens, we provide access to the most powerful AIs on the planet. Everything from trading bots, and we have our own trading bot, we have our own arbitrage bot, but we're not going to talk about that now. We talked about you're able to access AI intelligence. So let's say, Amar, you want to create a pitch deck here. Well, you can go to our marketplace and say, I need a pitch deck about Velt for these people in Dutch or in Arabic. And our AR marketplace will do it for you. You want to start a business, it'll create it for you. And we're going to give you access to this incredibly powerful AI. Instead of you using dollars or euros or pounds, it's Felt token. And the AI trading bot that we have, it's a whole nother level. Again, normally, back in the day, 6 years ago, this AI trading bot was only given to institutional grade investors like a Goldman Sachs, a Morgan, a JP Morgan, something like that. We've taken that same AI, that same financial vehicle, that same financial instrument, and made it available to the common person.
Is it free of charge?
It's free of charge, yes. We get a
That's amazing.
It is amazing. And here's the other thing is, most trading bots, you have to take your money and put it on their platform. Not with us. This trading bot, it's in your wallet. Your money never leaves. So some people take money, give it to a hedge fund. That means it leaves your bank account, goes to the hedge fund's bank account. So who's in charge of your money? The hedge fund is. Well, they're going to give it back. Not necessarily. They don't have to. Same thing here. Here, you don't have to give an AI your money. Your money stays where it is. The AI, you give access, a certain portion of it, you give access to your Felt, and it trades it for you. It could trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, it doesn't matter. Now, here's the one I am super excited about, and this is something we've already done, and that is RWA, real world assets. Remember we were talking in the beginning how Larry Fink said real estate, gold, oil, all of it is going to get digitalized. Well, we at Viltrixa, we've already digitalized a ton of asset. We've digitalized over $30 million of real estate in Dubai. We've digitalized gold. We've digitalized Rolexes. And we are going to offer this. We're going to offer all of these assets available for people to invest. So instead of needing $3-4 million to buy an apartment in Dubai, you can take your $300 and buy a portion of that apartment. And as that real estate appreciates, you could sell your portion. You could borrow against it. It's really, really cool. Now, here's the other thing. From now until August, we're gearing up for a global launch. And what we've done for people like you, Amar, is we have set aside $4.5 million of awards, meaning we're going to pay 10% on everyone that comes in. And we have this, again, set aside. Some other things that we should take a look at. Here are the different exchanges that we are on. One moment.
I need you to briefly explain to me what's the benefit for me, how it works technically by bringing people on board.
Well, let's say you have a friend, and by the way, these are the biggest exchanges. Just like you would see the biggest banks in the world, these are the biggest exchanges. We went through all this. What was the question again for you? What's the benefit for you?
Yeah, how am I involved? What is my role? Let's call it my discrepancy. What is expected of me and how do I benefit from it?
Well, we would love for you to be an ambassador, meaning telling people about this new ecosystem, the benefits of getting it. It's not if we're going to go into this ecosystem, it's when. So everyone who gets in early, like everyone who a year ago, I was invited to vet and consult this company, and I got Felt tokens at 0.00005. They're double that now, and we haven't even launched. So I'm rewarded for coming in early. So what happens for you, someone like you, is you invite your friends and you say, look, what are you getting in the bank? 1%, 2%? How'd you like to get 36%? That's already
How's
paid.
it recognized that the person who jumped in was because of me?
Oh, it's all tied. There's an affiliate. It automatically tracks everything. On the blockchain, everything is tracked. Every click is a fingerprint. There is no movement. There is nothing. There's not a single cent that someone moves in the system or that we can't track. And that's the beauty of this is everyone you bring in, we automatically track for you.
So how do you track the Canadian man who bought $100,000 worth of Velt?
Well, we don't track that. What we track is them coming into the staking program. Because what we want is we want people not to buy Felt and then be able to liquidate all their money when it doubles, because then that creates a liquidity problem. It creates instability. We want people to come in through the staking. And the staking allows us to actually control whether or not it makes sure there's no honeypot, there's no rug pull. So when people come into a staking, they are locked for a certain period of time and the funds are released in a certain period of time. And through that matter, we are able to ensure a safe financial environment. Whereas if everyone just went on the exchange and bought Felt and then dumped it whenever it 1x or 2x, we would have a problem. So we incentivize.
Who's we when you say we are able to, if it's decentralized?
Me, Impera. When I say we, I'm talking about Velt Impera, right? So it's decentralized. All this has been thought through. So how do you get people to hold Felt for longer periods of time? Well, you give them incentive. You say, well, we'll pay you 36% per year. We'll pay you 60% per year, 48% per year, because that creates more stability in the token, right? Just like
how is it paid? That's the only remaining question, and then I'm all set here.
It's paid in Velt. It's paid in Velt. If you invested in a
who controls the pot of Velt where the order is given to pay 36% to entity A?
The smart contract. It's done by a smart contract. It is running by itself. There's no human that says yay or nay. There's no human being doing this. So if you invest in a euro bond, you're getting paid out in euros. You invest in a U.S. Treasury bond, you're getting paid out in dollars. You invest in a Felt staking, you're getting paid out in Felt. And that is the ecosystem. So we have made a parallel ecosystem to the dollar, the euro, that is across borders, without middlemen, a fair interest rate, with no limits, total freedom, and ultimate safety. You think your bank is safe? You're crazy. This is true safety. No human being can change anything here. I can't go in there and just take the money. I can't, even though I'm an owner. I am on a contract that the smart contract pays me out a certain amount of tokens every quarter. And from that payout, I can't just liquidate it. I'm only allowed to liquidate a percentage of it every single month. And that makes sure that there's no rug pull. It is totally safe.
Okay, so how do I get a smart contract?
Very simple. You start the staking program. You just start the
Okay.
staking program, and we can record you coming on. You start with getting a wallet address, a MetaMask wallet address, or a Trust wallet address, and then from there you connect it to your Impera, and you're ready to go. And then
Okay.
once you have money in there, then you can get the debit card. You can go into the marketplace, all sorts of things.
So someone else jumps in because of my recommendation. I ambassadored him to make that choice. How is that recognized that because of this person, I my smart contract would add whatever for bringing in people? And then if
It-
that person himself brings in someone else, how is that added and so forth?
okay, so let's say you bring your friends. You tell your friend, look at it, look what I found here. He's, I'm going to put in $10,000. We're going to give you 10 points. It's done instantly, straight from the conversion of Felt. 10 points goes to you to pay you out,
And
right?
if he brings someone in, he gets paid too.
He gets paid 10 points as well, and
And I don't.
you get paid you get paid a percentage of volume, which I don't really study that much. I have Naveem. He is for the affiliate. These guys handle it all. I'm more the corporate side. I run the C-suite of people.
Basically, what I'm saying is, you know, I bring in four people, and every one of these four bring in 10, and every one of these 10 bring in 20. So at the end of the day, the 3,000 people that jumped in are because of my four contacts. Do
and
I get merited for that?
you're going to get paid very, very well for that, and that is what we're hoping you're going to do. And we only want to work with. I don't want 1,000 ambassadors. I want a few guys that I know. I'm meeting with 12 of them in
Well, logic
Dubai.
says you don't need 1,000 ambassadors. You need two or
No,
three, because out of these two or three, it just goes polynomial. You could get
okay.
a million people in a year.
So June 7th through 10th, I have 12 ambassadors. They're each putting in 5K, and they're all committed to bringing in 5 million worth of users in the next 30 days. It's going to go parabolic. The time to enter is right now, because when I come back from Dubai, it's going to be already 2 or 3x, because these players, first they themselves are investing, what's going to jack the price up. But then right there, they're going to invite their leaders, their community to come in, and you're going to see this price just take off. So the time to jump in is now.